Hi there, I thought this time around we'd go through a bit of a review of what we've already accomplished here, and just to take a look at where we've been and where we are now. So, if we go all the way back to the beginning, we looked at the things that you'd need for a guitar in order to play a guitar. A couple of things that we talked about was picks and gauges and stuff on picks, and whether or not they're plastic or nylon, that sort of thing. We also talked about guitar strings and how you need to get extra light in order not to cut into your hands as much. What else did we talk about? We also talked about tuners, and I hope by now that you've all got your tuners and you've been using them. And like I said before, the guitar tends to go out of tune quite a bit, depending on the age of the strings. The newer the strings, the more they're going to go out of tune. So you got to tweak them quite a bit. But by using the tuner on a daily basis, and especially the GA series from Korg, you're going to also learn your strings, because it basically displays what the string is that you're playing. So that shouldn't be a problem. If it is, again, there's all those mnemonics that we talked about. Elephants and donkeys grow big ears was one. Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye Eddie is another. So yeah, grab a hold of one of those and just write it down somewhere where you can see it all the time, and eventually you'll just know the strings and won't even have to think about it anymore. The other thing that we talked about a little bit, not very much, but we did talk a little bit about the capo. I'm just going to quickly show you a little bit of what I was talking about there. We have touched on E minor and a little bit with G. And so if we were to do an E minor here and switch to G and back to E minor and switch to G. Now, if I'm to take this capo and I put it 1 fret higher than the nut. So the nut originally, as I've mentioned before, the nut is actually playing notes, right? It is contacting the string, and therefore the distance between here and here will tell you what the note is. If I put a capo here, it replaces the nut, okay? Now the string can only vibrate from the 1st fret right here, because this is clamped on the 1st fret, so it can only vibrate from here to here, right? So if I play an E minor now, right? Again, we know from our power chord that if this is open, right, we need to go 2 frets higher. And the E minor, all it does is takes the 2nd finger and adds it there on the 2nd fret of the D string, which is your 4th string. So if I do this, and now I change to G, in essence, I'm actually playing 1 fret higher than the E minor, so I'm actually playing an F minor. We'll go over the musical alphabet in the next module, but I just wanted to point that out. And when you play the G, you're not actually playing a G anymore. You're fingering a G, it looks like a G, but it sounds like a G sharp because we've raised it up 1 fret. Okay? That's the key behind the capo. Again, if I played an E minor like this, but then I did it without the capo, you can hear the difference. So if you capo on 1 and do the E minor and then the G, now we're going to be learning a D chord very soon, but those are the first 3 chords that you need to play in order to play the song Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Green Day. That's A, we haven't gone over that yet. So we also talked about holding the guitar, and hopefully by now you've gotten to a point where you can actually see the dots on the side and you're playing, and you know we haven't really gone up the neck very much. Most of what we've done has been down here, but at least you should be able to find the 3rd, the 5th, the 7th, and the 9th just by using the dots on the edge of the guitar notes. And again, quarter notes is just the signature, the timing, the tempo of any given song. And again, if a band is playing, what's the first thing the leader says? 1, 2, 3, 4, and they start, right? That gives you the 4 quarter notes of a single measure. And we'll go over what that is later as well. The other thing we talked about is chopping. And again, you're going to find that most of what you do on the guitar is chords, right? Guitar has some melody to it, but in general, it is a rhythm instrument, right? And that's one of the reasons why we went over that exercise for strengthening the hand and that's why we did the chopping mechanism, because really what I want you to get used to is using your hand as a metronome, right? As a pendulum. Just keep... And as you're doing that, make sure that each stroke is even. You don't want to go, right? And again, as we've talked about, you also don't want your downstroke, or your upstroke for that matter, to be stronger or louder than the other one. If somebody has their back turned on you and you're playing, they shouldn't be able to tell when you're going up or down. So again, regardless of what rhythm you're playing, no matter how complicated or how simple it is, your stroke should always remain the same. What I mean by that is, well, if I was to do any kind of rhythm, just watch my arm. Regardless of what rhythm you're playing, your hand should always be in time with whatever the tempo to the song is. You don't want to do this. When you can do this. Right? That's the main difference, is that you want to be able to always treat your hand like it is the metronome. Okay? So that being said, we've gone through some power chords. Again, a power chord is nothing more than a low note on whatever string it is. It can be either the E string or the A. And your next string, the next highest string, will always be 2 frets higher. So if it's open, then 2 frets higher would be second, so you'd play second on the 5th. And that's a power chord. Right? Same thing with A. If you were going to use the A string as the lower note, then the D string would be 2 frets higher. So if it's open, 2 frets higher is 2. Yeah, but this happens to be a G power chord. And again, it's because I'm on the 3rd of the 6th string and 2 frets higher on the 5th. Right? So then if I use the A, which we already know is there, and the E, and I throw in the G, you can actually play a song with just straight power chords. You just play those 3, that's an E power chord, right? That's a fuller power chord.